issue with the weight of the world on my shoulders. I know I told you.
Hello once again, Global Online Open. This is week 3, and I'm here with couple number 2. Say hello to Ariel and John. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Going good.
Individually, I'd like you to say your names and kind of tell us where it is that you grew up.
My name is Ariel Peck, and I grew up in Florida, born and raised. So, Florida girl for life, probably.
I'm John, and I was born in Long Island, New York, but came down here and grew up in Florida, and I'll probably stay here for quite a while too. It's a pretty good place to live.
Let's talk a little bit about dance, seeing as though that's why we're here. So where did dancing begin for you guys? John, we'll throw this one at you first.
Yeah, so dancing was kind of a young passion of mine. I was just kind of a kid who moved around a lot. First started, probably the best memories were the Lawrence Welk show coming on every Saturday night with my family, and maybe 5 years old, I'd run as the show started and grab my cowboy boots and run over to the kitchen floor because that was the non-carpeted area, so I could join in their tap dancing. And so that was kind of my initial beginnings of dancing. Started my passion to perform for sure, and it just seeing the personalities, seeing the expression and the fun they were having really just got me going as a little kid. And so from there, I was probably 15 or 16 in 2009, really joined the dance company. We danced with other studios and worked around, and it's just been a crazy adventure ever since.
Ariel, where did your dance journey begin?
So my dance journey began, I am the youngest of 4 sisters, and my oldest sister did ballet growing up, and basically what happened is she started to teach the 3 younger sisters, and so we started dancing in church. I think I must have been 3 years old or something when I started just dancing in general, but really started getting serious around 10 years old when she started training up a little dance company of all the kids in the church. So we actually formed a little dance company, and she kind of formed and shaped us into a little troupe where we got to do jazz and ballet and lyrical, and combined it with actual stunting and tumbling and partnering. And so we got to do, that was my whole childhood. That's something that I will always remember. And we did a lot of traveling with that. We went to all kinds of different churches, and we taught workshops, and we did productions, and we even went overseas one year to Norway and Bulgaria and ministered over there as a dance company. And it was a really cool experience and something I'm really thankful for. And that's basically what started my whole dancing. My parents were super encouraging for us to do anything that we wanted to do. We were very active as kids, and so we did sports and dance a lot. But more recently, when I found West Coast Swing was at about the same time that I got more interested in doing hip hop, and I started teaching my own classes just so I could learn hip hop as well, and that turned into a successful venture as well, where I got to teach these adult solo classes and do hip hop and just choreograph. Something I loved doing was choreographing ever since I was a teenager. So it's really been a cool experience to be able to use that as an outlet. But I'm still learning and still trying to learn new styles even today. So that's pretty much it.
Where did your West Coast Swing journey kind of begin, and what were those initial months like?
For me, it was kind of a random find. I had never heard of West Coast Swing and before, but had done a little bit of East Coast Swing, a little bit of Lindy. My parents used to go on date nights out to swing dancing, and so me and my siblings learned a little bit in that way. But actually, a construction work buddy of mine got dancing, was loving the swing scene and doing all of the social dances, and he told me about this random West Coast Swing night. And it's like, hey, it's Friday night. You want to go and check it out? And had never heard of West Coast Swing before, not even seen it. I was like, I'm free. Why not? Got a few friends together and found Tommy and Renee. They, of course, recruited us right away and because anytime they see young faces, they love getting them involved and getting them connected. And they were probably the most pivotal people in getting us connected into the West Coast swing and getting us passionate about it. And maybe Ariel will pick up and fill in on that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, John told me about the class, and so I went with them, and it was a really cool experience because there's just a bunch of young people. Tommy and Renee had started this West Coast swing gang, and we fell into it, became a part of like a little family, and they were so supportive. It was just so easy to be drawn into it. I immediately just like fell in love with the dance, mainly because of the ability to express yourself in your own way, but still dance with your partner and create something. And I don't think I even fully understood what I was doing, even in the beginning months. I mean, it's super frustrating, especially coming from a dance background. I was like, yeah, I got this. No big deal. But little did I know how intense West Coast swing can be, and all the different layers and connection and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely cried in the beginning, being a perfectionist that I am. And got a lot of frustration, but like for some reason I always stuck with it because I knew the payoff would be worth it. And so it took a couple months for me to get super like comfortable with the basics and feel like I wasn't just thinking about walks and triples, that I was actually dancing. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. And when it comes to the routine stuff, like John and I started at the same time. So, and because we were both so much into dance, and he had been taking dance with me at that time because I was teaching some classes at my own studio. So naturally, we kind of just went along the same path, which in turn kind of turned into a partnership. And we because we came from solo and doing choreo, it was really exciting to hear that we could do a West Coast swing routine. So that's something that we started shortly after, even as novice dancers, I think is when we started our first routine. So
yeah, we were competing in novice, and it was December of that year. I can't remember exactly which year right now, but several months later we had moved up into intermediate and then even advanced, I think. So we had a full range of competitive levels change as we were doing this same routine, which was quite an interesting learning process. I'd like to share something that was a kind of fun start of the dance. When we first picked it up, I kind of had an opposite reaction initially than Ariel. When she first learned, she was very critical of herself and trying to perfect it, and I'm over here the first few months just loving it, thinking I'm the best thing that there was to West Coast swing. And then I learned a couple things. So, and I found out that humility was the key. And I had a humbling experience in learning what it was supposed to look like. And so that was fun. Then we just kind of took off in training from there.
You can still to this day find John's novice Jack and Jill video on YouTube if you so choose.
Oh no, you had to. The routine was an awesome learning experience on many fronts, learning how to choreograph together, learning how to communicate ideas and work with conflicting ideas.
I think right now I'm safe to say that as soon as people finish listening to this, they're going to be just clicking right above the link on YouTube and figuring out where they can find this video. So thanks for telling us that, Ariel.
Oh, man. I should say you're welcome, everyone, for the entertainment.
You're welcome. Anything to rustle up some votes, right, John?
Go ahead and vote. Go Team Red.
Perfect. So then I want to just kind of finalize and wrap things up with you talking about this kind of process, being given the music. How did you guys choose to cut it? Especially kind of on the creative side. I mean, you shot this in a coffee shop. How did that all come about?
This whole competition excited me so much, especially when I heard about the creative freedom that we were going to be able to take when it comes to editing the music and, shooting the video, cutting music and music in general. So I was really excited to create the song in a way that we wanted to create it and make it our own. We picked what parts we wanted, but also I knew that I wanted to add our own almost like remix sound to the music as much as possible. I mean, I'm by no means a remix professional. I just use GarageBand, but still I wanted to add some kind of dynamic to the song that would make it really unique, that only maybe we could make it our own. after that, John, coming from the video standpoint, who had good experience with video, we knew that we also wanted to do something creative and different with that, make it our own. And so when we heard the song, it was about a friendship and a relationship that, you know, possibly could have developed into something more, or maybe it should just stay friends. And so John was basically had this idea of like a cafe or a coffee shop setting. And when he said that, like the first thing that popped into my mind was the House Coffee Shop, because they're a locally owned coffee shop in Clearwater where we live. And I know the owner because as soon as they opened, I was a big fan of, you know, supporting the local coffee shop. And so I messaged her and I was like, you know, I have an interesting question for you. She's like, I was like, what do you think about this? And she was like, she didn't hesitate at all. She was like, let's do it. This sounds amazing. And so we were super excited to get outside of the studio and explore like a different avenue of creativity with West Coast Swing and filming and making it a little bit more of a storyline rather than just a routine.
That was really something that drew me in and was a high priority coming into this song and hearing the story like Ariel was mentioning. That really connected with me, and I wanted to tell that story as best as possible, and that's kind of how it all connected through into that atmosphere. And like Ariel said, it was such a neat experience to not only tell the story through what is danced, but tell a story through how it's filmed and the location and the lights and just all the little details that fall into a setting like that really emphasize how you feel what is being told through the dance. And that was something that we really wanted to emphasize in doing this performance. We didn't want to just do some nice dancing for everyone to see, but we wanted to tell a story and show that that you can feel something, you can be drawn into a storyline or an emotion just by kind of using these elements in a cohesive way through the dance choreography, obviously, but then and in the emotion of how it's danced, but also in where we did it. And so that was really cool. And shout out to House Coffee Shop and Rhonda. Thank you so much to them for being super gracious in helping us out. And that was her son, Michael, in that intro scene as well, handing us the coffee. He's a pro barista over there. So he knew right what to do, exactly what to do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this before you've seen the video, pour yourself a nice cup of coffee and head on over and watch it. And it's Team Red with Ariel and John. Thanks very much for your time, guys. Take care and best wishes, okay?
Yeah,
Thanks, Rob.
absolutely. Thank you. All right, have a good one, Rob. Go Team Red.